Greasy grass.
Well, it's up and running.
Greasy grass.
CPU usage is really low. It's 7%.
7?
Yeah.
Not even 9.
Damn, TCRS was fast. You got in here right away. Right away. Right away.
If I could turn back time.
Is the audio synced? Testing. Testicles.
Testing
Is the
testicles.
audio synced properly? The color on this monitor sucks.
What?
The color on this monitor down here sucks. This one.
The one down below?
Yeah. Okay, it's like
Fix it. Well, fix it, Chris.
it's like goddamn green.
It's fucking green. What'd you do, Chris? Why'd you make it green? It's supposed to be blue.
Is that
Or
better?
red.
Is that better?
I don't know. Scroll your. Look at.
Can we do
your,
custom?
Look at your monitor up top and
Let's
use
take
it as a
some-
reference.
Take some green out of it. There we go. Too much green in it.
Oh, look, I can see your mic volume moving around.
Alright, let's see. That'll have to do. Out of sync a bit? Yeah, I thought it was.
Which one?
With the video. Bye. Bye. Let's see. How the fuck do you get it back into sync? That's the thing. Let's go to audio settings. Audio. Microscope. Here we go. Mic auxiliary. We need to... Can you increase it? Tell me if it's closer or further away. Push to mute delay. No, that's delay. That's not what I want.
I don't know if you can do anything about that, can you?
Yeah, you should be able to in the filters or something.
Oh, an open broadcaster? Or
Compression, gain, noise, noise suppression. No, that's not it. Bah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
I don't want to shut the fuck up.
What about now? Any better? Any better?
Better.
Any better? Any better? This is gonna be a bunch of bullshit at the beginning of the stream. I don't think it's any better. How do you adjust delay like this? Learn on the fly here. Source projections, blah blah blah, stream output, audio channels. Why the fuck are you off, you piece of shit? Advanced. Is there anything in the advanced? Stream delay.
Stream delay. Enable.
No, that's not it.
Enable. Do enable.
Shut the fuck up.
One.
One. We're gonna set processing to above normal. Maybe that'll help something. I don't know. I'm going to go through this later. Fuck it. It'll have to do for now. Yeah, it's still off. I'm not sure why. It really annoys me. Things like that really bug the piss out of me. Let me see if I can...
Look, you're upside down.
I know.
That's how you should
Let me drop this to 720. And then rescale it. See if that's any better. I don't think it is.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I brought my phone in earlier. He said he was going to take a look at it.
It's probably gonna need a new screen.
Okay.
We'd have to order it. The screen with labor, you'd be looking about $100.
Okay. So it might just be cheaper to go get a new phone. Well, not like cheaper.
What model is that?
It's a V10.
V10. Of course, right as I got it, they come out with the V20 too. So.
Well, that's because the V10s have a lot of problems.
So you could fix the screen then, and
it could stop working.
Go out. Yep.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm probably at the point where I just need to get a new one.
Maybe a better idea, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they will warranty those or not, but they were replacing the V10s for free, but they had to be bootlegger. And yours is not doing that yet.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We can make it.
Yeah.
We can make it
happen.
I'm sure it's probably not under warranty anymore either.
Yeah.
AT&T sucks. All right. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
You have a good day.
You too.
It's the truth.
Huh?
It's the truth.
You could just take
Alright.
CPU and it's like, oh. Loop, loop, loop.
OCD will cost me my business? No. OCD on audio delay will cost me my sanity.
Start talking like you're in a...
I'm in a long hallway.
No, in a Chinese film.
It's not that. It's not that bad of a delay. It's just like a few milliseconds
Well,
off.
then why worry about it?
Because I can see it and it bugs me. This computer is much better though. The CPU usage is 7.
Compared to what was it on your laptop?
30 or 40. Okay, so I'm gonna get a second camera eventually, but for now, you'll have to deal with the one. I'm sure somebody's gonna bitch about it. Suck a dick.
Hey,
You can't. I can't.
shaking up.
I can't see that you're turning screws. Your screws are turning. I can't see them. I really think that's what people bitch about. I can't see the
you turning the
screws.
screws. Are you yanking them out? Which way do I turn them, right or left?
$100, yeah. The screens are only $60. Alright, so I wish I had done the one earlier on stream because it's one that I've never seen personally.
Did you have a second one of it? Or did you already fix it?
No, that was a different issue.
Oh.
It was 2 separate issues. So we had 2 really cool ones. So the first one was an iPhone 6. Actually, it's still here. We need to call them. You want to call her? Let me go make sure it's on.
How much do they
Yeah, it's on. $80.
$80.
What's up, bro?
How you doing?
Hey there.
What's up, man? 2 laptop men.
Oh.
They're at the flea market.
We're at the flea market.
I told my wife, I said, look, I'm here on time. Let me stop by and see.
Yeah, they're at the flea market.
That's
I forgot
cool.
to grab them.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm off this weekend, man. So I come to the flea market.
Alrighty.
Not a big deal, man. Y'all would get some. Y'all would get a iPhone, MacBook then.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got one.
We got one.
What kind you get?
So I think it's 2010.
You want to go grab it? I'm going to go grab it.
Yeah. How much you want for it?
Asking $350.
$350.
$350.
$350. Cash money today. How much?
$325.
Oh man, I got one from what's it called? Oh, Rental Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know we take that shit back there.
Yeah, that costs about $7 million after you get done paying it off.
Well, I was gonna do the 30 day, the 90 day same as period.
Yeah.
You know.
There you go, sir.
Okay. This is the
It's Pro 13 inch.
Pro 13 inch.
Mm-hmm.
350. Put it on that way.
Yeah, we can. How long? That's the question.
Wow.
I like money in my hand more than I do computer sitting in the back.
I already know, man. Let me see. What's the specs on this one?
It's gonna be for that year. I'd have to boot it up. I'd say it's an Intel Core 2 Duo with 4 gigs.
I tested. I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah,
somebody turned it on there and left it on.
Yeah.
You can power it up. There's a charger right there.
What time you close? 7?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm powered up. I'm running right up the street to grab my food. I'm
Okay.
coming right back.
All right.
You said 275?
For what? No, 325.
I gotta spend $100 to pick up my other food.
I know.
I'll be right back. Buddy.
Okay. All right. So, what's going on? I need to turn on my DC power supply.
Give me control.
The on-screen stuff is awesome, but it kind of sucks because I have to turn it on and off by actually coming down here and clicking on it on the screen. Click on you. See what the specs are.
You can't press it like that, Chris.
About this Mac retard.
You can't press it because you pressed on it. I thought you damaged the pixels in the screen. Oh, ouch.
Yeah, I'm gonna put some more RAM in it if we got it. Just pull it out of the other one. Put 4 gigs in it.
Alright.
What year is it?
Shit.
9?
2001, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll do it a little cheaper then. I'll do it $300. I thought it was a 10. The other one must be a 10 then. One of them's a 10.
Your mom's a 10.
She is a 10, thank you. Alright, so I'm looking to see if TriStar is working. It seems to be working. Let's see what happens when we plug in the battery. Okay, it's acting weird. So it acts like it's trying to charge the battery right now. As you can see, the amp draw there, it's bouncing up and down, but it's not holding steady. This is through the charger, not through the DC, or not through the battery port, but through the charger. So as you can see there, it's turning on and off like the TriStar should, but it's not mid 2012. Isn't that the Retina edition, Anthony? If it's a Retina, there's no glass only option for the Retinas.
Nope.
If it's a 2012 that's like the non-Retina edition, I'd have to look it up. It's not too bad.
$5 million.
Alright, so I'm going to try a battery in this real quick just to see if it'll turn on. Because it's acting odd. It's almost like the battery in it's just faulty and doesn't want to take a charge, so I would assume that that's been tested, but we'll see. Yeah, even with the new battery in it, it can't boot up. It's just boot locally. It turns on, turns off, turns on, turns off. Alright, so I'm going to hook it up directly to the DC power supply so I can see what kind of amp draw we're getting. I want to know exactly what the phone is doing. So we'll set it to 4.2 volts output. What's up, Freddy? What power supply am I using? It's in the description. It's been out of sale for a while though.
KRS-5.
It's a PPS 2116A from Circuit Specialties.
I was really close.
You weren't even fucking in the neighborhood. So we're gonna hook up our DC power supply. Okay, so we don't have any amp draw now. It looks fairly normal. That's what it should be with this test leads. Now we'll prompt it to turn on. Alright, so it's got a data line issue. So you see how it's going to 0.8 amps or 80 amps or 80 milliamps, excuse me, and then it's turning right back off, 80 milliamps, turning back off. That's usually a data line issue on the I2C lines. So we're going to need to look around and see if there's any obvious damage on the board. Does that other one have RAM in it?
Yeah.
Good.
Why is it popping up? Pop up.
Hopefully that one doesn't have a bad RAM slot. If it does, I'll have to get a 4 gig stick.
Give you a 4 gig stick. What is this? How many gigs is this? 2 gigs.
2 and 2 equals 4.
2 and 2 equals your mama.
Your mother.
Your mother's.
Have you ever forgotten to do it? Yeah. It doesn't really hurt it, as long as you catch yourself.
What? Forget to do what?
Switch it over from the USB 5 volt to 4.2.
Oh. I gotcha.
I normally use the presets, but since it's streaming through the computer, it won't let me use the presets. Alright, so I'm going to disconnect the front camera flex just to see if maybe it's faulty. I don't know that that's a common issue on the 6s. I know it was on the 5 series, but I don't think the 6 series has those similar issues. But we'll test it just for the hell of it. Alright, same exact symptoms. Let's see if it'll go into DFU mode. It should. No, it's not even going into DFU.
STFU mode.
Okay, so this could be a TriStar issue. I don't know. We'll have to open it up and see here. $180 for the replacement lid assembly. If it's a non-retina screen, we can do the glass on them. It's $45 labor plus parts. I think the glass itself's like $20. Yeah, I guess the meter's a limit. I've tried to hook it up so many times and it doesn't work. So, I talked to Lewis about his, and he said his didn't have any issues, and I don't know what my problem is. But I also realized that with the DC power supply, it also uses a serial bus to USB because the Chinese manufacturers don't want to spend the money on a proper USB host controller. So the meter, when hooked up, if you try to sync up the DC power supply and the meter at the same time, the meter does, or the DC power supply can't even work. So I don't even know if I could use it anyway. Chuck, the rig's doing well. Currently, CPU usage is at 7%. We've had 0 drop frames.
7 drop frames.
And the GTX 1050 in it seems to be trucking along with no problems.
These laptops suck.
Serial flow control. How do you? I have no idea about serial fucking connections. So, if you have any suggestions, I'm open to them. I tried every option I could as far as the meter goes to try to get it working, and I couldn't get it working. I set the transfer rates to what it says it was supposed to be and what other people have set it to that have worked, and it didn't work. I set the COM port manually to a COM port that was within the range of 1 to 4, because online it said that sometimes that the serial bus was only made for comms that were through 1 through 4, so I did that and still didn't work. Oh, it's back in stock? Well, buy that motherfucker. It's a good one. I'm gonna buy another one myself. I need one for the flea market, and it's a great DC power supply. The preset options on it are what are so awesome. But I'm definitely going to buy a second one for myself at the flea market. Port setting and device manager. Like, set it to COM 1, but what about if I have 2 of them set up? Well, I understand that they have to be on individual comms, but I mean, they automatically assign different comms. They don't try the same comm.
I know, but you can change the comm. That's there. And then
I know that. I did that. I manually set it, and it still didn't work.
what about the baud rating?
I changed the rate that it transfers at, and it did nothing either. I tried 9600, which is what works for other people, and I tried 2800, which is what the manual says, and I tried 4600, and I tried 14,000, whatever the fuck it is. Is that mic hooked up to the head unit? Yes. So that's my microphone right there. Or my microphone.
How much RAM do we have?
400 gigs.
2 gigs.
Still?
No, I'm just joking. It's got 4.
That'd be kind of funny if it was, though.
No, it wouldn't be funny. I need to delete this package software.
Yes, you do.
Delete.
Alright, so we got our board out.
1, 2, 3.
Hardware versus software control. Well, John, if you have any ideas, I mean, I can give it a shot, but it's just, I don't understand it very much, so it's just been a headache. Alright, so
Done.
let's check and see if we have any obvious damage here. I don't think we do, but
Let me call these bitches. Where's the business phone? Do you have a business phone?
yes.
Do I have a business phone?
I gave it to you with the paper to call that girl.
I give it back to you with the paper to call. Oh no, I don't.
Make sure you keep it up and we'll call your mother.
You don't even know my mom's phone number.
Yeah, I do.
What is it?
Better call 911.
No, wait, this is not the business phone. This is a Samsung S3.
That needs to go on the back.
Does it?
Yes. Hey, there's the business phone. Look at there. Ringing in your ear.
BNC, how may I help you? This is Micah. He's pretty busy at the moment. Yeah, I remember it. You can't do that for you.
Alright, let's see what this meter's on the PMID line to see maybe if Tigris or something's fucked up. That's all good. Let's check over here by the TriStar IC.
Well, probably, I don't know. That'd be something Chris had to decide because I'm going to want to get out here at 7.
What is it?
That iPhone 5, that
Sasha's helper?
Yeah, he had us undo. He's wanting to get it done.
Well, tell him if he can bring it over now, I can do it.
If you bring it over now, we can get it done. Oh, that's fine. Chop chop.
Chop chop suey.
Bye.
Alright, so I don't see anything obviously wrong there. And I don't see anything obviously wrong here.
You said it
Well,
was
let's look. Hold on.
Chris, that you handed me the paperwork on and stuff.
What the fuck is this shit?
Okay.
Looks like some milk around it. Yes, $80. I don't know that those are supposed to show continuity to each other. Just in case, we're going to clean that up. Sorry, you all can't see shit. It's way too dark. My bad. My bad. This is what I get for setting up on the new computer. I gotta up my brightness. Configure video. Let's turn my gain all the way up. Let's turn my exposure time up. Alright, hopefully that isn't terrible. It's a little shitty. It hurts the frame rates. It hurts. This is why I can't wait to have the HDMI, because then we don't have to worry about this bullshit.
Hey there, this is Mike at BNC. I was calling you about your phone. If you could, give us a call back at 502-420-8850. Thanks. Bye.
Alright. Alright, so there's like what looks to be some type of milky substance around the
Hey Chris, I'm sending this one here. I gotta go read things.
You gotta go poops?
I gotta do this.
You gotta make poops? Micah, you trying to make poops? You making poops back there, Micah? Here's how you get gaskets to get removed on the iPhone 6s. Just hit it with a little acetone and come right off. Alright, so let's see if we still have continuity here. I just don't. There's like fucking whatever the fuck is this between these. And of course I knocked it off the board like a retard. Let's put that back on. Put that shit back on my board. I got my tweezer tips in today. They're crooked as fuck, by the way. Wish Hako would fucking fix that shit. Like, look how crooked they are. Might have to bend them. Might actually do that right now. Bend this fucking shit. Still off a little bit. This may be better suited for hot air, actually. Looks like it is, because it is fighting me. Boop boop boo. Wait for this fucker to heat up, so I don't end up destroying this connector here. Ho ho ho. Micah's mother. I was really scared that I just shot that filter off into space. Just gonna go have to track one down.
I was gonna bring my bass today. I hear them all out there playing. I come out there and play with all the students.
Alright. Let's see if we still have continuity there. Maybe it's supposed to have it, but I wouldn't think it would. I guess it does. I'm gonna check that on ZXW. Let's slide on over here to the old ZXW. Let's do the 6S Plus. How much for the tips? They're $51 a piece for some bent fucking tips. Although it seems like all the Hako tips are this way. Like none of them fucking line up like they're supposed to. You just kind of have to tweak them into place. Let's see if that's better. Oh yeah, there we go. That's close enough at least. No one died, so you're not sure why he called you 3 times? Maybe because he's your dad and wants to talk to you. Alright, Mesa. Okay, so those two lines are tied together. I'm over here fucking around and don't even need to. Alright, so based on how this is acting, I think I'm going to replace TriStar. Just because TriStar is on the I2C lines. It's the first fucking thing that gets any kind of chat with the USB and the power. Well, Tigers kind of talks with power, but I don't see anything overly like jumping out at me that says, "Hey, I'm fucked up. Fix me." So I'm gonna switch back over here to the main view, and we'll take a cruise around the board. And you all can tell me if you see anything. I didn't see anything, but 2 eyes, 3 eyes, 4 eyes, whatever. How many eyes we need are better than none. Like nothing looks like corroded or like burn up. Like there's flux on stuff, but that's just flux. I haven't pulled this shield, but I don't think it's anything to do with CPU. I'm 99.9% sure it's not anything to do with baseband. Alright, so let's remove TriStar and just try that first. If it's not TriStar, I'll just save this chip and reball it. Okay, TriStar is off. We'll hold that IC and set it off to the side. Let's clean up our area here. I think the tweezers need just a slight more tweak. Yeah, one of them's still off a little bit. That's pretty fucking spot on now. I went ahead and bought 2 sets of these tips, that way in case one of these fails again I already have one waiting. It kind of sucked. The micro pencil is good for some stuff, but man, it just does not carry the kind of heat you need to clean with or anything, and it's really prone to lifting pads. But on that note, I wanted to talk about this. So this phone, I want to click it so you all can't see anything. This phone didn't power on when it came in. She said that she was having to reset it a lot with the power and home button reset method, and eventually it just stopped turning on. When I plugged it in, the phone was pulling about 50. Was it 50 milliamps? Yeah, I think it was 53 milliamps. And I'd never seen one pull that kind of power. I thought maybe it was in DFU mode, but it wasn't in DFU mode. And when you tried to prompt it to boot, it would pull like a little more amperage, but then it would kind of settle back at 53 milliamps. So I went poking around, and I knew something had to be off with one of the power rails, because it was trying to turn on, then it would shut itself right back off, because PMIC was seeing a problem. So I got to dicking around, and I found that when I lifted the CPU shield, or I checked VCC main. VCC main was short, but it was partially shorted. So I pulled CPU shield thinking that maybe one of the caps next to the backlight driver was fucked up, because that's usually what happens. So when I pulled that off and I started looking at the caps, I noticed that the plastic overcoating that goes on Chestnut had actually fully lifted off of Chestnut, which means it's gotten hot. So I measured the 5.7 output rail from Chestnut, and sure enough it was shorted to ground. So I pulled Chestnut off, and the short on VCC main went away, and the short on 5B7 was gone. In the process of cleaning it up, I realized that the boost line that Chestnut uses to boost through the coil that's next to it was completely gone. Even the via had burned out. So I had to remove the ground ball next to that next to that pad. I removed the pad and the ball off the chip and ran a jumper from the coil under the IC, and as you can see, the phone now turns on and has display. So that was a pretty cool repair. And then this board here was sent in. It was no power. They wanted to get it working again to try to get data off of it. It was pulling like 100 milliamps on power boot, but when it was off it was normal. But as soon as you hit the button, it would go to 100 milliamps and just sit there and not boot up. So I got to measuring around, and sure enough, the backlight driver was well, the backlight output line was shorted to ground. So I removed the cap that was shorting it, and I replaced the diode, which was bad, but the coil looked fine. And I tried to boot it up, and it wouldn't boot up, and it was still sitting about, like this one was doing, it was sitting about 80 milliamps, which means that there's a data line issue. So I pulled the IC thinking maybe, well, the cap shorted, so maybe it's burned up the IC, and sure enough, when we pulled the IC off, the phone booted up properly. So the IC was internally shorted and was pulling the I2C line down, which was not allowing the phone to boot. So after replacing all the backlight circuitry on this one and putting it in a test frame, it boots up now. So those are two really cool ones. I'm hoping this one will be just as interesting, but it may not be. We shall see. Let's put a TriStar in this thing and see what happens. Spectre, sometimes it's a guessing game, man. I'll be honest, like I just kind of poked around the board with my meter and just started measuring all my power rails and seeing if somebody was shorted. And sure enough, I've seen the backlight shorted before, but it usually drew more amperage than 100 milliamps. But because the diode was messed up, it was causing it wasn't drawing amperage through the diode or anything. So we were just getting a weird voltage altogether. The Chestnut one was me just kind of poking around at rails. I didn't know what was causing it. Partial shorts on BCC main are an absolute nightmare. But I was poking around, and when I lifted that CPU shield, I saw that the Chestnut IC, the plastic film like that's on TriStar here, that has the date and everything, or the code printed into it, that plastic had come off of the IC completely in one piece, which usually only occurs from pretty high heat. So I figured, hey, this looks like a possibility of a short that occurred and heated this chip up, so let's measure the 5V7 line. And it was the 5V7 that was shorted, and subsequently it was shorting VCC main low to about 170 ohms. Alright. What's up, Jonathan? Do I send screens out to be refurbished? Yes, I do. I like to refurbish my screens. Oh, God damn it, I keep forgetting about this stupid fucking sticker on the NAND that has all this crap on it. As soon as you fucking hit it with any type of solvent, it just disintegrates. Leaves little pieces of fucking silver paper everywhere. Alright, let's see if that did anything, or if we just wasted time on ourselves. Micah just chilling in the background. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Micah's just hanging out.
I gotta order stuff.
He's got to order stuff.
I gotta order stuff. We need fuses and we need that cable.
So we're still pulling a normal voltage while it's off. So I'm going to go up here. We're going to go to the schematics real quick. And we want to look at... I need to boot it with my tweezers. So I'm looking for the menu. Well, damn, the whole side of that's ground. I need the AP to menu key. There it is. Button hold key. That's power. Menu is home button, excuse me. So we need that one. So let's switch back over here. And we'll see if we can boot it up. So I already forgot which one it was. Was it the first one? Yeah, so first one. So we should be able to just short it straight across. Nope, still doing the same thing. Let's see if I've got any heat anywhere.
What would that be? HTC One M8.
Just look for like front camera power button.
This whole deal here.
Yes. It should have a camera on it too, does it not? Or does it have plugins for the camera?
Mine.
Make sure that's the M8. HTC One M8.
HTC One M8.
Okay. SIM card connector, flex cable.
Yes, it does. I guess maybe there was a plastic thing over that. Which I still haven't tested.
That means we probably need to order the cameras too.
Fix what you fixed and then unfixed. And I'll be back tonight.
Tonight?
Alright. Can I meet you somewhere today? Again, if I can.
Why don't you just sit there for a minute and let me put it in?
But I don't have the money. That's why I said I'll come back.
Alright, you can come to my house then.
Okay.
Alright. Later.
I just need to get the front camera because the rear camera still works.
Okay, front camera, yeah.
Okay. Or you want me to get one just in case? Or
No.
No.
If the rear's working, it's working. I'm not worried about it.
alright. So we just put it here.
Too much TV. Let's see if we can get this out of here without completely fucking it, since the frame's pretty much in half already. This is a 5S that it's got a bad TriStar. I've already replaced it once, but he didn't want to pay for it at the time when he dropped it off, so I undid it. This phone has no TriStar. I think it's TriStar. I don't think it was battery gate. I don't know here in a second. I took off whatever it was. I'm pretty sure it was TriStar though. Somebody's spending all me monies.
Oh, spend all your monies.
81 milliamps. Yeah, I didn't think there would be much heat either. I'll just test it.
Come on, negotiate this deal.
Alright.
Let's see, like,
Get ready for negotiating.
I'm just gonna tell him. I'm gonna let him throw out a number and be like, alright, I'll do 300 because it's 2009.
That works for me, Chris. Alright, let me grab that fuse so I can find out what kind of fuse
Taking out the board on a fucking 5C. Gonna replace all the parts that are missing. So I'll get my money.
Chris will
I'll
get
get my money, yeah.
The cell phone, man, that's who.
Give it to the guy who doesn't have the money for his phone. Do I use yes, I use the sweep function. The sweep function is what helps break loose stuff underneath the chip and move it out from under it. So it's kind of a necessity to run the sweep function.
There it is. 250.
My balls won't drop anymore. I don't know if that's true or not, Amy. They may drop again. I make no promises on my ball droppage.
They're slow blows.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I figured they use fast blow.
Slow blow. Time lag, cartridge, fuse, LCD TV, etc. new.
Buy them things.
No, that's Chinese. I want it from China.
US's.
Hong Kong. China. Let's just sort this bullshit. US only.
I wanna buy you a new car.
No solder leads. They don't have any on here with the soldered leads.
I don't give a shit. We can put them in there ourselves.
Okay. So just get a pack of 5 of them.
Yeah.
$12.
Yeah.
Expensive fuses. That's average price though.
Jesus Christ, come off there, Shield.
I think the biggest thing is when I got it in 2014 maybe.
Password on it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's actually a mid 2009. I thought it was 2010.
This is a mid 2009.
Yeah. Pretty much the same computer. Yeah. TriStar. TriStar. TriStar.
What are the specs on it?
It's a Intel Core 2 Duo 2.26 gigahertz, 4 gigs of RAM.
Hey, this Cortez, man, barber down the street. I got a MacBook from you all. Can you look up what year it is? Sure can. Okay, one more time, but what you say?
I'm gonna buy you a new car.
Specs on this one again?
Huh?
Specs on this one?
4 gigs,
Intel Core 2
Duo,
Duo.
and I can't remember what the size of the hard drive on it. You go about this Mac. Shit.
Yeah. 2013.
Reball this thing.
Oh, okay. Appreciate it, buddy.
2013.
Okay. Y'all can probably help me out a little bit. You got a little advantage. The 2013 is a MacBook Air.
Oh.
It's like the bitch version, right?
Yep. Pretty much.
Oh, man. And I'm a DJ, so I'm running, DJ software.
Yep.
So that's why I didn't know what the specs are on this, and if it's even.
It'll run DJ software fine.
Can you upgrade this?
To what?
I don't know, like bigger or more gig and stuff
More
like
RAM?
RAM, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I know the.
I don't think you would use more than 4, but yeah, I mean you can go up to 8 gigs if you want.
In that one, okay.
Yeah, I don't think you would ever need that, but
Well,
I've never seen somebody use 8 gigs unless they're gaming or something.
Nah,
Or crunching a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
If you start doing paperwork for IRS tax returns, then we'll talk about more RAM.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good on that end. What warranties y'all's come with?
3 months.
3 months?
Yep, covers any hardware defects, no physical damage or anything, or accidents or water damage or anything like that.
This one right here, was this one that needed a battery or what was wrong
Yeah,
with this?
it's one that needed a battery.
Battery? I'm a PC man for real, man, so I'm just now trying to get to the MacBook shit.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's talking about DJ wire. That's all they know is MacBook.
Yep.
Does this one have Final Cut Pro or anything like that on there?
No.
This don't have a no video program here at all.
No video editing, no. Unless Mac has something that they use, you know, out of the box, but I can't think of anything that they would use.
Well, we can probably see if we can get something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a cracker too. I just don't do the MacBook.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this then. What would y'all do for my laptops? What would you knock off?
I have to look at them and see.
Okay. Oh shit, damn. You can't look at them. They have to play. Damn. That one was, I think one you had to
reinstall Windows. I know. I forget why. It's been.
I think there's a virus on it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And one of them, the screen was black.
It was black, but I can't remember if I replaced the screen or what I'd done.
It was like $96 a year. We can come up with something right now, man, for my laptops and this right here, man. I can give you some cash, bro.
I'd have to see what you got first. I can't judge it without seeing what they were.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I forget what. I can't remember what models they are.
One's an HP.
Yeah. Which millionth model is it?
You know, that's right.
Yeah.
And the battery's good on this one now?
Yep. Brand new.
Brand spanking new.
Good batteries too. They've got a 18-month warranty on them.
Cool. Well, tomorrow I'll guess Brand gets with you.
Okay.
Brand gets to play there with you.
We'll do.
And look at it, you know, and let me know what y'all can do.
We'll do.
All right.
For, like I said, the other one I got from Rhino Shim. That just hit for like 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
I lose a couple of dollars just to get, even though it's an older model, but it's still a pro.
Yeah.
And shit, like it has all the you get like more than one USB input on.
Oh yeah.
The air got like just one.
Yep. They're pretty limited.
Yeah.
They're made for portability. That's the main thing on the Airs.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the one that you got right there, I don't even think mine's 4 gig of RAM.
It should be.
Is it?
Yeah, it should be. Most of the Airs, that's all they came with. You can't upgrade them though.
Oh, you can't upgrade it.
No. The Air is stuck at whatever it came with.
Okay. So your main difference between the Air and the Pro is what? Even though it's an older model.
They have a little better ventilation. You can upgrade the hard drive for fairly cheap. You can upgrade the RAM. That's about it. I mean, they work a little better than the Air does, just because the Air uses a low power processor and stuff. But I mean, they're probably about comparable.
Okay.
For what you're going to be using it for, it should be more than enough.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. All right, man. I'll be out there in the morning, man.
Okay.
See ya.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem. 2013 Air, it's probably Core i5, 4 gigs of RAM. Probably barely faster than that one. Clock speeds are probably exactly the same.
I want to clock your speeds, Chris.
Yeah?
Give you a ticket. Going way too fast.
Sell it on your shop for $250. $250 for what? $250 for what? Turned down for what? I started that shield back on. I didn't even check and see if that TriStar's good.
Oh God.
Micah, please
Oh,
be
God.
good. I'll test it real quick, make sure. Come on, chicken fucker, plug in. I think the 5S is probably the worst charging port to plug in. It's so annoying. Lenovo E420. Alright, let's do some voltage changes. The reason I do 5.2 is because there's some voltage loss through the little amp board that I use. So it's not actually... I may have killed that TriStar. They ain't doing shit. Yep, I'm gonna have to replace it again. That TriStar is dead. Well, fuckery.
You gotta take the shield back off?
Yep. Gotta take the shield back off. Gotta replace it with another TriStar. I got ahead of myself.
Chris got ahead of himself.
Didn't test it before I was ready to go.
Chris got ahead of himself. Don't fuck with this.
Alright, let's replace TriStar again for the 78th time. We'll put a new one on this time. Instead of old and busted here. No more old and busted, we need some new hotness. Clean that up real quick. Alright. I'm going to triple check and make sure that my orientation is correct, but I'm fairly confident it is. Yeah, it is. Alright, so let's put a little flux down and put this TriStar IC on. Let's throw this other one in the trash. I've changed U2 IC, it's working while the phone is on, but if the phone is off, plug in the charging cable, not turn on, no amp draw at all. Is it the chipper Q5? ASP, disconnect the battery and connect a charger to it with an amp meter to watch the draw. If the amp meter reacts and goes up and down, which I'll show here in a second, that means TriStar is okay. It could very well be that the Q5 IC is not working properly. So if that is the case, you'll just need to pull it either replace it or jump it. It could be in a PMIC issue. So I'll show you here in a second. What I'm talking about. Alright, so let's plug this in. See if it's working. If I can even plug it in. There we go. Alright, so plugging in, there you go. So see the amp draw there? See how it's bouncing around? I don't know if... well, it won't refresh right now. Hold on. There. Now it should be refreshing. See how the amp meter is bouncing around there? That shows that there's no battery plugged in, but TriStar is trying to boot the phone up. That's why we have an amp draw. So if I unplug it, it should flatten out. So it's about 50 milliamps. As soon as we plug in our charger, it jumps up, and then it goes back down. It jumps up and goes back down. So that's how I test out TriStar. Now if it's not doing that, then there's a chance that the Q5 gate, which is the battery gate, if it charges while the screen is on but doesn't while it's off, that's controlled by the PMIC. The PMIC sometimes has issues. I'm not sure exactly what with. It has to do something, I think, with the battery SWI line. But something gets off, and it does not want to allow the phone to charge properly sometimes. So the easiest solution that I've found is to jump the battery MOSFET gate and just ignore what PMIC is saying. Although not the exact correct method, it's easier than trying to replace PMIC. Although PMIC is not terribly difficult to replace, it's much more involved than jumping that battery gate. Out there yamming on it, son. Playing them tunes, Micah.
Yep. Boom, 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 boom.
Cookie, cookie, cookie. This is really hot on the fingers. Fuck you, Soda. Alright, so let's put our antenna back on. Alright, let's plug it in down here. A little slack. There we go. It's on. Let's put it back in, and we're done with that one.
I've never seen one of these.
You want me to? What the fuck is that?
Dodge Rampage. It's like an El Camino, but it's got a camper topper deal on the back of it.
Do you want me to cash you out?
Yeah.
You didn't write anything on the board.
I did one thing today. That's why I just memorized it. Just as S5 active.
You didn't work on anything else?
I mean, I worked on stuff. I didn't finish anything.
What all did you work on?
The PS4, I pulled it apart and stuff. And
do you want me to go and pay for it? I mean, we know what's wrong with it. We're just waiting on parts.
We don't know what's wrong with it yet. Really, I mean, we just know that it's fusible.
I mean, we know what's wrong with it.
Yeah, you can cash me out.
Cash me outside. How about that?
How about that?
How about that?
What else? And then the other thing was the M8, but that was warranty work.
Alright. What was the other thing you worked on? The S5 active?
Yeah, S5 active.
Okay. Take a 30 out of the box.
Alright. Okay.
You work on anything else?
Not really. I mean, I got here a little late.
That's true. Yeah, I had some batteries early on that you could have done. What's up, Paul? She's doing okay, I guess. She's at home. Still feeling sick. Yeah.
Alright.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not your
No. I didn't mean to. I could have had you take apart boards or something.
It's alright. I woke up at 6 o'clock today, Chris. So I was content with just staring at stuff today.
Woke up quick at about noon. Gonna have to be in Compton soon.
I'm messing with I'm supposed to walk up here and meet him at.
I'm gonna finish this 6S Plus and then I'm gonna go fuck home.
Yeah.
Pizza place.
The
new one?
Mushroom.
Oh. Hey, you're talking about the new one.
New one.
Yeah, the one over there on Cemetery Road or whatever, Fairview.
The new Gaddy's place?
Yeah, whatever the fuck it is.
They got arcade machines in there. I wonder what they got in there.
They got shit.
They got
Lots of
probably
shit.
Lots of shit arcade.
Alright, let's see if the charges. Come on. Yeah, battery's dead. I don't know why I tried to boot. That amp draw is too low though. Let's see if it goes up. It should go up. That amp draw is complete shit. Let's disconnect, reconnect. The battery in this thing could be fucking shot too. Alright, let's see. Let's plug in a known good battery and see how it acts. This phone's been beat all to hell, so would not be shocked if the battery's also fucked in it. Okay, got me a battery. See what it does when it turns on here. It seems to be acting somewhat normal. I want to make sure that it actually charges though. We did all cash today. Didn't do shit on card. Waiting for it to finish booting. Alright, it's booted up. Let me see what percentage are we at. Alright, we're at 64, so I'm gonna let it sit over here with the screen off. It's pulling a little low, but the voltage is a little low too, so if I turn the voltage up some, it may bring that back up. My amp meter down here is at 4.7. It's being pulled down. But it's pulling a consistent amperage with the phone screen off. So I'm fairly confident it is charging. So we'll let it sit there for a second while I dick with this 6 Plus some more. Did you get a hold of the people for this phone? Which number did you call?
I called the one to Astra.
Okay.
I tried calling the first one first and they no service.
Can you give me a Pepsi?
God bless you, Chris.
Gracias, senorita.
Hey, I knew it. Did he come in while I was gone?
What?
That one.
What one?
The gaming computer.
Oh, yeah.
I told you it's that one.
He said no rush, just let him know.
Did you tell him stop overclocking shit?
He said it's not overclocked.
Oh, it's not overclocking?
He said he also was reinstalling Windows when it did it. He's got the disk and everything there with the key and all.
Alright.
I forgot about that one. I should have told you you could have worked on that.
Yeah. I didn't even notice it, dude, even though it's fucking monstrous.
Huge. Huge.
It's huge. My name
Let's see, has it gone up?
Humongous.
Yeah, it's gone up 1%, so it's charging. It needs a new battery in it. That battery that's in it's shit. So it went from 64 to 65%. So I'll tell him that he needs to put a new battery in it and that it is good to go otherwise. Okay, let's close that one up. Alright, so that one is done. Let's get back to our iPhone 6S. Let me switch the DC power supply back to 4.2. Alright, so let's hook this thing up again and see what the fuck it's doing. Still, I don't think it was wanting to boot. I need to start checking my power rails to see what is there and what is not. There should be some present rails whenever we try to boot it, like the 1V8 rail. And what do I do with my fucking there? We also have this Dell here. Can you put this on the to-do shelf? It's
fucking Dell.
We need to write everything on the board also. The one right there for fucking Derek.
Oh.
This one in the charging cable. He said every time he plugs in the charger, it turns the power light off, so I think it's got a short in it.
Maybe.
Alright, so let's boot this up again and see what it's doing. Alright, so we're going to leave it trying to boot itself, and I want to start metering some voltages here. So I'm going to start with my NAND voltages. I want to see if I'm missing any of these. 1.8, 0.9, 0.9, 0.9, 3 volts, 0.9, 0.9, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8, 3 volt, 3 volt. So all those look good. Let's see. So we know 1V8 line is there. We know the NAND 3 volt line is there. Let's check and see if we're missing maybe a CPU line or something. I don't know. Maybe a 1V8 SD RAM. Wrong one. Not a 6S. 6S Plus. AV uploaded a video, Snap-on vs. Harbor Freight Impact Wrench Deathmatch. Looks like they linked tug of war fashion. Oh, the one where they have the steel bar in between the two of them? It's pretty nuts. It twists the shit out of it. Alright, so I want to see if we're missing like an SD RAM line. So let's find our SD RAM. That's GPU. That's PP fixed. Get your PP fixed. There's 1V8 SD. Alright, so let's see where that goes on the back. I believe that 1V8 SD line can be fucked up far more easily than others due to the fact that it goes to so many different lines. So I want to see if that's there. So this cap here, yeah, it's present. Alright, so let's check out our CPU lines. So pretty much everything in its mother over here. We have a test point, which makes it extremely easy to test. That's there, 0.9 volts, which looks correct. GPU, let's check that. Also conveniently have a test point here. GPU is nothing, which is normal because the phone is not booting up, so it's not displaying anything. PP fixed, let's see what that is. So that's right next to these and looks to be under the shielding here. 0.9 volts, that looks normal. Alright, let's see, what else do we have? 1v1 SD RAM. So what's close? Here we go. 1.1 volts. Alright, that's there. Let's see what else we have. Those are backlight. Let's just check the backlight circuit real quick and see if maybe we have a short. Guess it would help if I put it in diode mode or continuity mode. I got no shorts there. Those are data lines, those are normal. I don't see anything out of the norm there. Man, this is a weird one. I mean, it's possible that the NAND just fucking took a shit on it, but it won't even go into recovery mode when I tried earlier. I'm gonna try to put it into DFU recovery real quick. This board is not a Skookum Choocher, that's true. This board is not Skookum as frig. It's not good enough for the girls he goes out with. Alright, let's hook up our screen with our DC power supply. And I want to see if we can get this to stay in like some type of DFU mode. I don't even think it's getting to that point. It's almost like the power rails are all there, which is really odd. I would think if it's like PMIC or something that PMIC wouldn't be outputting all these different rails. So I'm really starting to lean towards something to do with either the software or the CPU not letting it boot up or something along those lines. Okay, so press our buttons here, hold them, release. And it's still all over the place. Still really sporadic. Let me see here if we've even got anything. See if I can get this plugged in without looking. The no-look USB plug-in. This is a very tricky move. Oh, I got it. Alright, so let's plug this in. Obviously not doing jack shit. Let's hold our power buttons and our home button. Release the power button, keep holding the home button. See. Oh, it did come up in recovery. So, now that it's in recovery mode, let's see if it's a software issue. I didn't think it would come up in recovery, but it did. Alright, so iTunes has detected an iPhone in recovery mode. Well, we agree. So let's see what iTunes has to say about it. We're gonna have to download the update, I'm sure, because this computer doesn't have any of the software on it yet. Alright, downloading the software, so let's give it a few minutes to see. About 10 minutes is what it's saying. Well, 9 minutes, 8 minutes. Finally getting to watch one live in the AU. Where's Paul's here? Yeah, Paul's still here. Paul, what time is it there? Pretty late, isn't it?
5 a.m. tomorrow.
Anthony, what you sent me? No, this is from somebody else. I got in more packages today. I have to look at them. It's been a pretty hectic week. We've had close to 30 mail-ins this week, so it's been kind of nuts. Not including all the stuff that's sent to us from other stores. I'm pretty happy with how this computer is doing though. It's for the amount invested in it, it's doing pretty good. Yeah, it is really.
Yeah.
I guess the multi-thread or the multi-core processing really helps knock it down because it can spread it out.
Because nothing uses multi-cores in gaming.
I'm sure the stream's suffering. Yeah, the stream's dropping frames because we're downloading at the same time as uploading.
Where are you downloading?
The firmware.
Oh.
It's hating life right now. I've dropped 2,000 frames. It's got 5 minutes left. You'll have to make it through. What's up with Donnie? The SATA connectors on old MacBooks go bad. Are you talking about in the actual connectors? Yeah, the hard drive cables are renowned to go faulty. They always fuck up. Alright, let's see how much we got left. It's got 1 gig downloaded, 1.6 to go. What's up, Martin? Boop beep 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 beep. Beep 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 beep. Beep 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 beep. Anthony, this isn't your phone. I haven't checked the mail that we got in today yet. A Ryzen CPU? No, this is not a Ryzen. I wish it was. If it was a Ryzen, I wouldn't have any. No wonder your shit's freezing. Yeah, it's fucking dropping frames like it's going out of business. It just dropped another 1,000 frames. Sorry guys, sorry. It's almost done downloading the firmware though. It's got 3 minutes left. 3 minutos. No, Martin, it's more about the hardware. I mean the connection speed. Just waiting on this to finish. Should be done here in a second. Let's see. Got 30 seconds left. Let's see, it should go back to green here any second. And it's done. So the stream should return to green status. Let's give it a second. Yeah, the open broadcaster's pushing through the bandwidth right now. It bumped it up to maximum amount of bandwidth that I can support. It's trying to catch up now. Alright, so stream should return to normal here shortly. Let's see if it does. Still dropping frames. I don't know why. It should be caught up now. Well, iTunes kicked it out of recovery mode or DFU, but it didn't come back in. Alright, so it still hasn't fucking returned. It keeps dropping fucking frames. God damn, this thing's stupid sometimes. Come on, open broadcaster, just fucking pick it up, buddy. Do your fucking job. It's just dropping 20 frames every time. 20 frames, 20 frames, 20 frames, 20 frames. iPhone 6 replaced screen, suddenly the phone's reboots. Replace or unhook the front camera and see what it keeps doing there. Unhook the home button. God damn it, stop dropping frames. It's just dropping fucking 20 frames every fucking second. God damn, it's fucking annoying. Really fucking annoying. Really fucking annoying. Really fucking annoying. Stop fucking up. Alright, so this is gonna piss me off if it doesn't stop this bullshit. Try 3,000. 3,000 bitrate. Come on, stream, catch up. Oh, now it's back in the green. It went from 3,000 frames dropped to 12,000 frames dropped in the matter of a few minutes. Alright, stream should return to normal here shortly. Alright, so Larry, do you have any ideas? I've never seen anything like this. The 6 Plus, when you try to boot it up normally it goes to 80 milliamp draw and then goes back down. I'm going to test the, I'm going to meter the I2C line and see if there's a short on it, but I don't understand why it's doing this. Nothing seems out of the norm. There's no water damage. There's no obviously burnt issues. Like nothing's fucking being on fire. I'm not sure what the fuck it is. So let's find the I2C lines here. So let's go up here. We'll go over to ZXW and we need to find an I2C line. So I'm going to scroll through here and see if I can catch a glimpse of one that says I2C. There we go. I2C. That doesn't really fucking help me. I2C to baseband. Here we go. Well, that's test point. There's got to be a resistor for it though. It can't just be on a line, I wouldn't think. Let's look up here and see if there's any I2C lines. We're looking for a resistor. There's a resistor. I2C touch by Mamba. It's not a 1v8 reference though. Huh. Where the fuck are all the... There we go, these are I2C lines. Alright, so... We know 1v8's there though, so let me just meter the... Let's meter the diode mode on the 1v8 line and see if it's off. That's the only thing I can think. The fact that it's getting to 80 milliamp draw and then shutting back off, even after replacing TriStar. I think TriStar would cause some data line issues, but see, it looks normal. 3.21. All those test points look normal. Nothing looks out of place. 2 hours? Let me see. Hour and 35 minutes. Larry, do you have any ideas on this one? Anybody have any ideas on this one? Ever seen this shit before? TriStar's new. Maybe Tigris? I don't know. I don't want to just start replacing shit, but I really don't know what else to do at this point. Thing is, Tigris, there's nothing shorter on it. I2C line next to the backlight. Well, the backlight on this one's a little different. The backlight is all right here. It's not the same as the 6s. I know what you're talking about, Amy. I don't know. R030. Alright. It doesn't exist. No resistor of such exists on this board. This is iPhone 6s Plus. Guess we could go through and check all these. Look for resistors that are on I2C lines and then meter the other side of them.
Oh shit.
Let's check out the rear camera I2C line. The meter's 0.338. That looks fine. That meter's normal. To WAN wake up. So let's measure that one. Normal. Battery not detected or gas gauge? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I would think it would still boot. Because when I hit the power button, the PMIC outputs the other voltages. I mean, we can replace Tigris, I guess. Tigris is where the battery SWI line goes. Let's find it. Let's see, I think it's down in here somewhere. System alive. Try to start a Tigris, PMID, USB, Tigris boot, Tigris LDO, PMU. There it is, battery SWI. I guess we can pull and replace Tigris. I mean, at this point, what the fuck are we gonna do? What the fuck are y'all talking about? 032 or 0302? Where are those resistors that you're talking about? Because I don't know. I searched just a second ago for R0303 and it did not come up. Alright, let's clean that up. No, it's a 6S Plus. S Plus. Sorry, I need to put that down in the description. My bad, guys. That's my fault. There we go. Update that real quick. 6S Plus. My bad on the confusion. See ya. Micah there, out there rocking out with her cocks out. Alright, so let's see, what model is this? This is a AB0. This is a BOA, so that's all right. This is a BO. It's a BO. I don't know if I have the ABO or not. I used to have some. Let's go through these. These may all be the same, I'm not sure. BO. 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 And BO. Alright, let's come up here. Let's rummage through these. See what we got. I could separate these two, I'd be doing good. This is a BOA. There's an ABO. Have to reball that one. That's one that I put on before. Now, those are all BOA. That's the only ABO I have. Well, normally if they read 0.08, it means that the... Usually though they hold strong, they don't fluctuate, but usually that, in my experience, has usually meant that the I2C lines are short, from what I have seen. The ones that I have seen that were that way, I have found issues with the I2C lines having corrosion at some point on them, and that usually is the fix. But this one's not holding constant, it fluctuates. So that's what's really confusing me about it. Okay, reballed our IC. Let's check our orientation. Orientation. So A1 is in the bottom. So just as we have it orientated. Explain more to you? Oh, well, I mean, the I2C lines are just your general data bus for the CPU. So there's several systems that talk to the CPU via I2C lines. when those I2C lines get shorted, or there's any type of interruption or corrosion on them, the computer or the CPU doesn't know what it needs to do. It doesn't know what's going on. That's why sometimes TriStar can cause no boot, because it has a direct line that it talks to the CPU. So sometimes TriStar can be messed up to the point where it's pulling the I2C line down. What?
Oh, I don't know. Someone's talking on the
So if the I2C line is pulled low, huh? Rock lobster. So now, prompting it to boot. With Tiger's change, it yields the same exact results. So it goes on, turns off. Turns on, turns off. Turns on, turns off. So I would think this is either a CPU or a PMIC issue. If it is PMIC, I'm not fucking messing with it. The PMIC on these phones is right behind the CPU, and as you can see, has a lovely amount of underfill under it. So I'm about lost on what could be causing this. It's got to be some type of short. A resistor issue? No. Normally, Larry, the way the lines work is they have a pull up to 1.8 volts, and if the pull up is not there, or if there's a short that's bringing the line low, it's constantly going to send a bad message to the CPU. Sometimes when ICs fuck up, they send out the incorrect voltages or something, or the incorrect signal to the CPU. So any I2C line interference will cause some weird problems with no boot. Like earlier, I had a backlight driver that talks on an I2C line on an iPhone 6, and because the driver itself had gotten fucked up, the balls weren't bridged together, because when I pulled it off, they were pristine, like it had pulled just off the chip, like cold solder joints, so you could see exactly what was touching what, and there was no solder balls touching at all. There was just a short that occurred, and it fried the actual controller IC, and by doing so, it was pulling one of the I2C lines low. So when I was trying to boot the phone would go to like 100 milliamps and just sit there and wouldn't do anything, and then it would turn off, and then it would go back up to 100 milliamps and sit there, and then turn off, and then back to 100 milliamps. So I was thinking that this would be along the same lines, but that one had a short on the backlight line. This one doesn't seem to have that. I can check back here at the actual ICs. Maybe I missed something there. Let's see. That's normal. That's VCC main. Let's check our diodes. That's normal. That looks normal. That looks normal. That looks normal. That looks normal. I almost feel like this is just gonna turn in like to one of those hunt and find situations where you don't know what's wrong, you're just fucking poking around and trying to see. And I don't know that that's going to be worth the time or not. Especially since it's 8 o'clock and I want to go the fuck home. I'm going to check around the baseband, because that can allow the phone to start to turn on and then shut off, because the baseband PMIC is a secondary startup unit. Baseband comes on after the other systems turn on. 0.157. That may be a little off, I'm not sure. Nothing there looks out of place other than this one is 0.157. I don't know if that matters or not. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong. It'll go into DFU mode, so that kind of has to rule out the CPU almost. Doesn't mean that there's not a dayline issue, but the fact that it'll go into DFU is nice. But as soon as you try to restore it, when it goes to kick it into restore mode, it immediately does not work again. The battery gate has to be working because when we hook up our DC power supply, that reads normal.
Okay.
Freeze spray it, then set it on fire.
Mm-hmm. Both of them, that order.
In the same order?
No. Set it on fire, then freeze spray it.
Freeze spray it while it's on fire?
Yeah.
Let's try again here. I'm gonna hold it for a little longer and see. Yeah, same thing. Pull in 80 milliamps. So as you can see there, it's bouncing off and back on, off and back on. So it pulls 80 milliamps and then off, and then 80 milliamps, then off. No, it goes into DFU mode. The problem is when it's in DFU mode, when you go to restore it, the phone will kick itself out of DFU into recovery. And in recovery mode, that's where it actually does the restore. The problem is when it comes out of DFU into recovery, the phone no longer turns on, so it can't go into recovery mode. Keep you mobile, I agree, it does sound like a bad flux capacitor. We're going to have to talk to the doctor about this one. We need our Cuisinart so we can get more power. So
The right hand.
I guess I could leave it here just trying to boot itself forever.
Forever.
Maybe something will just finally give up and then it'll start working again.
It'll catch fire on your desk.
It will catch fire. Not at 80 milliamps.
Until it jumps up.
Till it jumps up to 4 amps.
Well, popped up to 97 there.
Oh!
Oh man.
So yeah, I'm gonna call this one and go the fuck home. I don't foresee this. I don't foresee finding a solution to this tonight. It's a bare board with a power supply plugged into it, so if it was gonna turn on, it should fucking turn on. How many hours a day? Probably 4 or 5 hours. I looked through the scope. Yeah, there's NFC on it, but I doubt it's NFC. All the iPhones after the 6 have an NFC. Even the, I think the 5, did the 5S have Apple Pay? I don't think it did. I think only 6 and up. Too damn many. How many times do you look through that scope? The number is too damn high. Alright. The hot air is on. Or off, I mean. The power supply is going off. Boo! Boo! Now it's just forever stuck on some weird fucking reading.
4.2.
I guess we'll just we'll call it at that. I'm gonna head home. I gotta run to Kroger first. Some veggies, bruh. Some them veggies, bruh. Where's the paperwork for this one?
For which one? Which one's that?
I see it back there.
You see it back
iPhone
there?
6. Yeah, fold
Why
on
would
your
you
desk.
yell at me like that, Chris? I know,
Kenna's yelling at you too. She's like, fuck you, Micah. So we're gonna set this off to the side, and I'm gonna go to fuck home because I have to get up in the morning after getting only 4 hours of rest last night.
Why?
I get to get up again probably with another 6 hours of rest.
Why are you gonna get 4?
Because I was at the fucking ER with Ashley until 4 a.m.
God, Chris. Oh my god. Should have said, fuck this, I'm tired. I'm crawling on this bed. Dude, I'm going to sleep.
Martin, I've already replaced TriStar and Tigers. Well, anyway, everyone, thank you for watching. Seems like the streaming computer does pretty well. As long as I'm not trying to download the internet, it doesn't have any problems. Oh, shit. Yeah, I forgot about the t-shirt winners. Everyone, just so you know, everyone that replied on the previous videos, up until the last one from this week, I think, anybody that replied saying they wanted a shirt, you're getting a shirt. So I think it's 11 people.
Damn, I didn't message and say I want a shirt.
Micah's getting a shirt too. But all 11 people that said they wanted a shirt, I'm going to contact you all through YouTube. I'm going to send you a message. You'll have to check your messages, which is kind of awkward on YouTube. But it should be under like your About section or something like that, or Communications or something. But everybody that asked for a shirt on that contest, since not many people asked, you get a shirt. So next time we'll give away something else when we get to like 2,000 or something. We're getting there slowly but surely. We're at 1,300 and something now. So, but thank you all for watching, and look for a inbox message about the t-shirt if you were one of those that replied. And I will see you all later. Have a good night.